Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to UK Festival Podcast. Now, I'm at the Angel Pub in Woodbridge, Suffolk, with my friends Art, Claire and Merlyn of the wonderful folk fusion band Aartwork. Today we're going to be discussing their music and trying to find out the answer to one of the most common questions festival goers have. How to band? So, gang, can you introduce yourselves and tell our audience a little about who you are? Plus give us an interesting fact about yourselves.
I'm Claire. I play guitar and sing in the band. Yeah, we've been together for 12, 15 years, and Art and I started.
Interesting fact.
The band, yes.
12 and 15 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And Art?
I'm Art, play the fiddle, and interesting fact, I was born in a lighthouse.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
In the Outer Hebrides.
Oh, Christ. And Merlyn?
I'm Merlyn with a Y. I play the spoons. I make the beats. I was born in Lancaster, grew up in the States, and I've lived in the UK for 9 years.
Now, anyone who has listened to your music will agree with me that you guys are all pretty good. You're pretty technically skilled. Can you tell me when you started playing your main instruments and what led you to choose them?
Okay, Art's fiddle. I started learning at school. I got to grade 3 before I left school. And I didn't actually choose it. My mate wanted to learn the trumpet, but he didn't want to go to the music department on his own, so I went with him. And I wanted to learn the clarinet, but they didn't want me to. So they were just starting up the string section, and they said, look, you've got to learn the violin. So my mate ended up with a euphonium, not a trumpet, and I ended up with a violin, not a clarinet.
At least you went through with it.
Yeah, yes, obviously grew on me.
Merlyn, how did you get into percussion?
When I was little, I had a few basic lessons on a few different instruments, but I was never all that interested in music. I wanted to be more kind of like visual art, graphic design kind of stuff. But then when I must have been about 11, I think, I started listening to Led Zeppelin, and I just heard those drums, and I just had to learn the drums, and then started getting into jazz, and then picking up percussion through that, and kind of studying music, and ever since then I've just been studying music, basically, like playing all sorts of different instruments and stuff,
The moment you mentioned Led Zeppelin, Immigrant Song just started going through my head, right?
Yeah.
And Claire, when did you start playing the guitar?
Probably when I was about 11. I'd played the piano earlier, and then I really wanted to play the guitar. I had a few lessons, but once I got the hang of chord shapes, I just carried on, really.
You just went away with it.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys were introducing Aartwork to someone who's never listened to the band before, what are the first 3 songs you normally put in your set list?
My choices would be Jigging, Road Trip, and it's Traffic Jam, I suppose now. I don't know.
I'd say probably Devil's Dance Floor. That's a really good one. It's kind of nice and funky.
It's my favourite.
Road Trip's really great, but Traffic Jam as well. I mean, both those are kind of like intertwined, I feel. They're really great tracks.
They're all of your more recent stuff. Do you think you guys have been just getting absolutely on point with it?
Yeah, I think we're doing what we always imagined in our dreams we might be able to do, and you always love the thing that you last did. You're kind of more excited about that. But now with Merlyn doing the beats, with Phoebe on record and everyone doing effects, the electric spoons with a wah-wah pedal is just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of all watching each other on stage, wondering what's going to come out. We know what we're supposed to be doing, but it's kind of a live performance for ourselves as well, which is it feels more magical as well. You're not just playing it out each
not
time.
just churning stuff out, are you?
So that you're less churning stuff out with more experience. That's an interesting way. I didn't expect it to work that way.
I think it's because we write the music and we don't have any rules, so everybody can do what they feel they need to do to that tune. So it's,
Yeah, we just kind of take it and roll with it.
I mean, we obviously rehearse the tunes, but there is a creativity there which we allow to happen. We don't say, no, it's got to be played like this. You know, it's just, oh, you played it like that tonight. Great.
I love that. It's huge. How long have you guys been playing together?
As a duo, did we start in about 2005?
Yeah, that was the 12 to 15 years, wasn't it? And then,
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, you joined us when you came.
When I moved to the UK, I started playing, but I was playing drums. Drums in Cajon.
What year was this, Merlyn?
This was back in 2015. So yeah, about 9 years ago. Yeah, and then but then during lockdown, we kind of parted ways for a little while, a couple of years, a year or two, and then during lockdown we kind of like came back together, and that was when I just started having this idea of electric spoons and backing and beats and stuff like that, you know. Then that was what 2020, I think we started.
Yes. Yeah. It was because we were a bit more folk rock before, because we had traditional drum kit and electric bass, and I think we went into lockdown not wanting to come out just bashing the same stuff out. And then I think since we've done that, that's when we've started to become a lot more creative.
Yeah, I mean, I've really liked your last two EPs. They're properly exciting pieces of
thank you.
music.
Oh, thanks.
So what are you like? What was the core inspiration that led to you like doing this kind of music?
Okay, so Claire and I played in a band called Workhouse, who were like an English ceilidh band.
Yeah.
And we were doing traditional tunes with reggae and world beats, and we found that although it's folk music, it wasn't only folkies who enjoyed it. We found that people across the board enjoyed it. And as that band was sort of coming to an end, we were writing more and more tunes ourselves and not necessarily playing them. And that band Workhouse sort of folded, and so we emerged from that as a duo playing our original tunes. But we knew that with world and reggae beats, it excited people across, from different genres. So that's what we wanted to do.
I think we played those tunes forever. You played jigs and reels from when you were young. I played folky music and always loved that. And I think the thing about putting the different beats to it is that it lifts those tunes. I mean, the tunes are brilliant, but you can play them and kind of tie them into a kind of sort of steady 4/4, and it sort of it kind of dampens them down. Or you can do some really exciting things underneath, and it really lifts them up, and you see people leap up and down. And
I see.
the best thing.
Like, I really like ska music, and like when people merge ska and folk, you get basically klezmer gypsy, brilliant stuff, and I just love that like fast pulsing, like energetic ska beat, but with like fiddles and glorious stuff on top of it. It's so much fun.
Yes, yeah, and we saw some. We went up to Glasgow and saw some bands who were doing trad music with beats, and the hall was heaving, and they're doing all this dance music, and it was heaving, and then in the distance, because it was quite a big place, in the distance you could see the fiddle and accordion, like the acoustic instruments, being picked up, and the whole crowd went, whoa, and so it lifted even more, and we went, whoa, we want some of that.
And I think what we're using traditional dance tunes, and we're with contemporary dance beats, so it's all dance.
It is all
what
dance.
Yeah.
I mean, I've danced to Aartwork many times, and it's always been fun.
It's double dance.
So, at its core, this podcast is supposed to be about festivals, how they happen, and the people that make them up. When did you each get involved with the festival scene? What were your first festivals, and what were they like? Any interesting stories?
Our first festival as a duo was the Green Man Festival in
Green Dragon.
Green Dragon.
Ooh.
in the mountains south of Granada.
Wow.
Because Claire was playing bass with another band, and they realised they couldn't fly, it's too expensive, so they were going to drive down there, and it's about a 20-hour drive. So I said, I'm not going to drive all that way if I'm not playing. So we emailed them and said, hey, look, we've got this duo, can we play? And they said, yeah. So brilliant. 20 hours driving later, we went down to...
And that was a fantastic festival. It was all run on corn oil.
Oh, wow.
And it was explained to us, it was called the Green Dragon because it was run in the spring when everything was starting to get green, and because it drags on. So people came, it was the biggest free festival in Europe. Everyone came from all
How many
over.
people were there, roughly?
50, 100,000, 50,000, 100,000, do you think?
How many?
50,000?
Smaller than
Big.
Glastonbury, bigger than WOMAD?
Yeah, smaller than Glastonbury.
Yeah, definitely smaller than Glastonbury.
But it was it went.
It was a long time ago.
Spread out.
Fair enough.
Nearly 20 years
40,
ago.
50,000, I'd have thought.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. At a free festival.
Yeah,
it
no
must
security.
Must have been chaotic.
No traffic control, anything like that.
Yeah, all the cars were just parked higgledy-piggledy, but it was fantastic. There was absolutely no shielding whatsoever, and everyone
trouble.
just no trouble.
It works.
Awesome.
So
really
it works.
Yeah.
And it was a lovely community. It was based in a community who lived there, and then they ran it, and so people would come and they would stay for months.
What about you then, Merlyn? Where was your first festival?
With Aartwork.
Oh wow, I didn't realise that.
Well, no. I mean, I'm back in the States.
That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a few festivals. There's Bonnaroo, not far from where I was going to university. That was a really good one. But I wasn't playing there. I just kind of went as a punter.
What's it like?
It's massive. It's absolutely huge. I mean, the campground basically becomes a village to itself, and they've got like their stores and stuff.
Is it comparable to anything in the UK?
I mean, it's I guess it would be bigger than Latitude, I reckon. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I mean, it was a huge festival. And I didn't sunscreen my feet.
Oh no!
And I got sunburn on my feet.
That's such a rookie error.
Yeah.
Was it on the tops or on the bottoms?
On the tops.
Oh.
Yeah. I was wearing sandals all weekend, and got back, and I was like, oh.
Did you see the lines?
Yeah. No, it was bad. But yeah, then I did some other ones. I mean, I went to a few others. Memphis in May was a really good one because I was living in Tennessee when I was over in the States. But yeah, and then in terms of playing festivals, I did some few bits over there, but nothing too major. But then moving over here, one of the first ones we did. Of course, that was Maui Wowie. That was one of the first ones, I think.
Big up Maui Wowie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our favourite.
Wow Festival. I remember that one was really good as well.
You did Wow, yes.
Yeah, Wow Festival.
Is that still on? Do you know?
No.
Oh, pity.
That was a good one.
Good small festival, that. Yeah. Can I tell you quickly about
Yes, of
a festival
course.
I played in the early 80s?
Yes.
In Norway. I was hitching and busking for about 3 years, and I was in a town in the Arctic Circle called Buda, and saw a poster for a festival. I thought, yeah, I've got to go to that, and it was out on the Lofoten Islands, which is about 90 miles off the coast. So I legged it down to the ferry ticket office, found out how much the ticket was, played for about 3 days to earn the money for the ticket, got it just in time, jumped on the ferry, and we got there, jumped on a coach, playing my fiddle on the coach, and going around all these little sort of bendy lanes, and the coach stopped. Everyone started digging into their rucksacks. I said, what's going on? Well, we've got to buy the ticket, haven't we? I went, no, I never thought about the ticket. I was so concentrating on buying the ferry fare. So there's this American guy on the coach. He said, tell him you'll play, man. So I sort of went and explained and said, I've been travelling around, blah, blah, blah. Is it all right? Can I play? And they said, yeah, no problem. So I played for 10 minutes, and then they said I did the American Square Dance, and so I literally played for 10 minutes, and then they said, go and get your expenses. I was going, no, it's okay, I've played for 10 minutes. No, you've played, go and get your expenses. So I went down to the office, and he started counting all these notes, and he said, where'd you come from? And I said, England, sort of joking, because and he's counting all these notes. I was going, no, really, I'm passing through. You know, no, you came from England and paid me 600 quid for 10 minutes. This was in about 1982.
Jesus Christ!
That's the most I've ever been paid at a festival. No one's matched that yet. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. So no one's matched 600 quid, or no one's matched
for 10 minutes.
Oh, wow!
In 1982 money.
Jesus. If you could do that for the rest of your life.
One a week would be alright, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, what are all your favourite festivals, apart from obviously Maui?
Obviously, yeah.
Landed Festival.
Oh, I love Landed. Yeah,
Yes.
It's got such a nice like free party vibe to it.
Yes.
It's wild in
Yeah.
a way, but it's
Yes.
also like kind of it's wild, but it feels like nothing will go wrong. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other highlights? Yeah.
Weird and Wonderful Woods. That's always a really great one.
Oh yeah.
And Harlequin Fair. I mean, of course, it's all East of England stuff. It's kind of
I've never been to Harlequin Fair.
Have you?
No.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh.
Good atmosphere.
Yeah, really, really good.
Great reggae bar in the woods.
Reggae bar in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like the sort of festival.
You'd like
You'd
it.
love it.
Yeah, it's great. And they've got all kind of healing stuff there, like healing area, health. They take care of your health there.
They do. It's
There's a
lovely.
sauna. There was a sauna.
Is the food reasonably priced?
It's not bad, actually.
It's not bad, yeah. Yeah, it's not bad.
Nice place. Head Celt we went to, didn't we?
Oh.
In
Head count.
Head Celt
Head.
in the Outer Hebrides.
Stornoway.
Oh wow.
That was it was partly to go and visit your lighthouse and festivals on at the same time.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd tie it all together, and that was amazing because of course it never got dark.
Because it was summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did it just go all through the night in like?
It didn't actually, did
Oh.
it?
No,
We were
no.
walking home in the light.
And
weren't we?
being the Outer Hebrides, it stopped on Saturday night and nothing happens on Sunday. Everything closes. So you're suddenly there. There's no ferries back, so you're there for the weekend for the festival. But suddenly you've got nothing happening on Sunday, which is that was very strange. But it was a brilliant festival.
Would have made sense to put a gig on. No competition.
allowed.
Not allowed
Not
on the
allowed.
Outer Hebrides on Sundays.
No, you're not supposed to cook. You're not.
Is it like
They tie the swings together so the kids
Presbyterianism
can't.
laws?
Yeah, it is. I think it's quite strict.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never knew about that.
So we went to see the lighthouse instead.
Yeah.
It's odd they almost could put on a festival at all then.
Yeah, but it's brilliant. There's one massive marquee, and they had people like
They had Sugar Lifty, they had Seth Lakeman.
Pete Bog Fairies,
Oh wow.
like one after the other, and it was like, whoa, this is our favourite. Wow, this is our favourite. Wow, it was great. It was really good. Love that.
I think we'd probably go. Well, I'd probably go for those smaller festivals rather than the
Yeah.
enormous.
No,
ones.
your Boomtowns and your Glastonburys, right? They're just so much work. Like, yeah, you'll probably get to see 20 bands that you wanted to, but if you have to walk 50,000 steps a day for that, is it worth it?
And actually, some of the things about those bigger festivals are the things you come across that you weren't expecting to, and then you always get distracted, so you never get to where you were going to go. But it doesn't really matter because you saw something
Had a
really
good time
interesting.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, while I was waiting for Monkey Fist, Phoebe's band, to come
Oh, yeah.
on, I saw this act called Zoo Blasters, which was just like this riotous horn thing where they were all wearing animal masks. It was one of the most intense, like, what moments of my entire festivaling career. Zoo Blasters are a recommendation. You should definitely see them if you get the chance. So, what makes a festival good to perform at? It's a bit different to going as a punter, or even crewing at. So, are there any specific things?
From a performer point of view, I think places like Maui, where they really make an effort with the stages, rather than playing in just a big bare white marquee.
Yeah.
Like the river stage at Cosmic Puffin.
Is that just a white marquee, or is it a high effort one?
No, that's a lovely one.
That's a lovely one.
Okay.
Beautifully done up.
Yeah, that makes it.
Yeah, that's always
It does.
a good one.
And just practical things like being able to get your gear to the back of the stage, in time, drop it all off.
I would have thought smaller events are really advantaged on that sort of thing.
That's much better, and then toilets.
Oh God.
Having one near to you.
Near to backstage.
Which the punters can't get at.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, just so, I mean, a nice backstage area is just always so appreciated.
The most useful thing of my press pass at Equinox was access to backstage toilets.
Yeah, I remember we played at Latitude. That was the same.
Underestimated, can it?
They had some really nice.
The performance camping at Latitude's nice, isn't it?
But also the toilets on stage. On the
So,
sorry,
no, but do you prefer it when they put performers camping with crew or in your own separate little area?
Either, really.
Don't mind.
I think it's fun camping with the crew. But, if it's separated, they got, because crew have crew things to do, and, don't want a bunch of crazy musicians around you. It's kind of
no, from when I've worked events, that's true. Either. They kind of almost feel like you should be in with the stewards, but not the people with actual jobs. Because the stewards, they're going to be having fun, but if you're working like 16 hours a day all weekend...
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want musicians playing through the night.
Yeah. I think we're all a bit different as well, because Phoebe will always be with lots of people and and they'll have their own area, won't they? And you'll sometimes be part of that, Merlyn. And
I just kind of go wherever.
Wherever it is.
You're an art camp at Maui last year.
I'm a wanderer, I just wander around.
And we'll get the coffee out and the... So it depends what you want to do. Yeah. I always need to sleep before I play.
Proper campsites are really good. Do you guys put a lot of effort into yours?
We've got, Claire and myself got a camper van, so we just turn up and jump in the back.
Easy solution.
Yeah, which is comfy and nice, so
That's made a big difference.
You tent it, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a tent, but I mean, I try to keep it as well as I can, because I mean, it's when you're performing, it's good. You really want to be comfortable. Like before, you want to have if you're like camping all weekend and then your performance is on Sunday or something. You want to make sure that you're getting good sleep, because it's it's terrible to if you go on stage and you're super tired and maybe you've had a few drinks and stuff like that. It's like the night before, it's really it makes it harder to perform.
When I'm really tired, my perception of time gets screwed up. I imagine for percussion that's not good.
Yeah, very true, yeah.
So if festival organisers want to help grassroots artists, what do you think are the best things they can do for them?
I think the smaller stages, booking people so that they can get a step up.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I know that some festivals are deliberately trying to help emerging artists.
Yeah, Secret Garden Party this year is doing a 230 artist lineup or something.
Oh wow!
Without any headliners.
Yes.
And honestly, it's one of the most exciting festivals of the season. Like, I mean, normally I don't love Secret Garden Party. My one time going was a mess, but I have high hopes for it. So yeah,
it's the experience.
You've
isn't
played
it?
there, haven't you?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Again, it wasn't. There were some names there, but I don't think we knew them until we got there, sort of thing. So it was more about the experience.
Yeah, the reveal.
Yeah.
Which year did you play? Before
Grace Jones was there. So
before or after pandemic?
Oh, before.
Okay.
Before,
Way back it went in. It was run by the original team and
probably,
stuff.
yeah, and they had a pirate ship in the middle of the lake and they set fire to it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, when I went in 2022, I think. That was only 2 years ago. I should be able to remember this better. When I went in 2022, it was a bit of a chaotic mess.
Okay.
Like, it had the potential to be a really good festival, but somehow it wasn't. And I don't know quite, like the security were dodgy, toilets were awful, like, organisationally it was just it just underperformed compared to what I hoped.
One of the things that organisers could do to help performers is There's a lot of festivals that you can't even apply to because you've got no contact details.
Yeah.
And they don't put the contact details out, probably because they get lots of applications.
To be fair, I find that as press as well. I've got like info at festival,
Yeah.
and I'm sending them emails like 6 months before, 3 months before,
Yeah.
1 month before, 1 week before, and then they get a call on the second day of the festival.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to come check it out?
Yeah, getting a contact for a stage at a festival is like gold dust.
Yeah.
I think another one is that's really good, and I see it more and more at festivals, like having like a busker's corner or like an open mic going on at one of the little cafes, or just having like little jam sessions and stuff like that. Because it's kind of you get people in there like that, and then they meet each other. It's good like networking and stuff like meeting like-minded people that are there making music. And stuff.
Yeah, it might create the best band in the world.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, that's true. It's true.
So, lots of artists have a dream stage or festival they'd like to play at. Do you guys have like a top ambition stage you'd ever like to play on?
So we nearly played on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury once.
Nearly. What happened?
We had an email from PRS saying, "Can you verify your set list for your set at the on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury this year?" And because we were called Aartwork with a single A at the time, and so I emailed back and said, "Yeah, here's our set list. But we really think you're talking about Aartwork, the DJ in the Midlands, the successful DJ, not us." And they sort of they emailed back and said, "Oh, thank you for that," and sort of laughed and said, "Well, you never know, next year."
I think we've all said at different times we'd like to play Glastonbury.
Glastonbury, great. Yeah.
Would be brilliant.
Have you guys ever been?
Yes. In '84, I think I went, but...
So not since they built the fortifications.
No, no, I'm not sure if I'd won. It's funny because as a band, it's a different experience, slightly different experience than going as a punter.
I would have thought if you were going for the whole festival and you're only playing one set, it wouldn't be so different.
It's sort of different because, it depends actually, because if you're playing, say, on Sunday, then it means you've got to be good, relatively good, and look after yourself, and you can't really get into the festival as much. You can't really relax into it. If you play on Friday night or Thursday night, then you just have a ball, and then the festival's yours.
So if I want to get in a band's good books, book them on Friday.
Yeah.
Yes. Not Sunday afternoon.
No, the only person who likes playing Sunday afternoons is Beans on Toast.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, he loves the Sunday afternoon slot, and I don't know why. Maybe a bit of a lunatic. So, lots of bands that are performing are kind of crap, and loads of good musicians just sit around practicing at home. How can someone know when they're like good enough to go out and start getting gigs and start performing to people?
That is quite a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you just got to go for it. I mean, really, because if I think of it as, you play to the people that listen. If people are listening to you and they're enjoying what you're doing, then, you play to them, and that tells you, it's like, oh, actually, there's something happening here. And then it gives you a little foundation to grow, and it's kind of like, it's like stage fright, or you might have a little insecurity. If you got somebody there, and they're listening, and it's like you get that symbiosis.
Yeah.
So I think just go for it, really.
Open mics, jam sessions.
Yeah. I think you have to, because also the thing doesn't kind of exist until it goes out into the world, and then you find out whether your favourite song that you wrote and sang.
And you don't
that's
have
just crap.
you don't have to be massively talented or skilled to make good art, really. I mean, that's one of the great things about our modern kind of music is everywhere, and you can find music. It's so easy to discover stuff.
So now this one's a bit of a contentious one. How much should like a competent good band be paid for like a pub gig or a festival? How much? Now this isn't how much the going rate is. This is how much they should be paid.
I just think you have to look at it in the context of, I mean, at the minute, pubs have just come back from COVID. You know, they were all on their knees and starting to build back a living. And it's an ecosystem, isn't it? I mean, if you want to play in a pub, you've got to work with the pub to see what's reasonable. And if you don't play in a pub, if you hold out for a fee that possibly on paper you should get, but you don't get to play, then what's the point? You know, I'd much prefer to do sort of 3 or 4 gigs to a bigger audience. That means we get in front of people. We get to test out, we get to practice in a live environment for a reasonable amount rather than one gig which pays a lot. But I mean, that's my...
Well, I hear a lot of people like on the internet, less so in real life, being always pay your artists. I think you probably should try and do that, but it isn't an ideal world and you can't always do it.
We've run small festivals before, and we've just, even if you give artists 10 quid each, just as a thank you, you know, at least it's
You're
something.
doing a lot better than like 90% of the people offering places to play.
Because I mean, we've played at festivals where you haven't played anything, but you get a festival for the weekend, so that's your payment.
You get tickets,
kind of thing. Yeah.
But and if it's a really cool festival with a good vibe, and then it's better than going to like a more commercial festival with not a good vibe and being paid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm designing my Boomtown walkabout at the moment, and it's like, I'm not doing that to get paid. No. I'm willing to put like the full price of a Boomtown ticket into that project, to be honest. If I have to buy costumes,
it sort of swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Because you get like corporate functions and weddings, parties.
You don't really want to do them for free.
Exactly,
No, exactly.
They pay, and.
But
festivals are your choice.
I think, you know, it costs money to make music. You know, if you even go into, pick up a guitar, a secondhand guitar, Facebook Marketplace or something, that's going to cost you some money. And then to take the time to practice and learn a set, you know, and if you're performing for people, if you're performing for 2 or 3 hours, you know, it's kind of like you really should get something in return. You know, it's like, you know, you put the time in, you put the effort in,
and it's very skilled work. You know, most jobs you could learn to do quicker than being a musician, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a marathon.
Absolutely.
It's not a sprint.
It's
takes a lot of dedication.
It's a really difficult one. I think you have to make your own decisions, what you're comfortable with, what, you know, and it depends what else you're doing.
If you're a professional musician who's been trained at the Royal School or whatever, and it is your business, then maybe do corporate functions and do all the well-paid gigs, and you could say, I'm not going out for less than such a certain amount.
But you're going to have a rather boring life.
Yeah, you can back yourself into a corner with that as well, because then you sometimes, you know, if you're only taking the well-paid ones, then you end up just doing the corporate events. It's kind of like
No one who puts on event season.
Yeah, you gotta have a bit of leeway with it.
And also, if you do covers, then that can be I suppose financially better.
You can get weddings and stuff with covers.
Yeah, but if you're constantly doing covers day in day out, it gets boring.
And you don't get the time to perfect your own stuff as well.
You don't. So it takes away from your own creative process.
So,
I think though that the having come out of COVID and then you feel lucky to get gigs, you can also undersell yourself, and you know, that's one of the things I think we constantly look at is, okay, what is the price point? So we might do something for very, very little because it might be a charity that's really dear to our heart, and we go, we really want to do that because, you know,
we'll do that, we'll pay for the fuel, we'll do all of it.
Exactly. And then you might have somebody's wedding and you're going to charge them the normal wedding amount, but in between that, you really have to make your own decision, but you have to also be aware that there is that range and not try and pitch yourself too low, because otherwise then that's all you will get.
Like if you're pitching pub prices to a corporate client.
Exactly that,
that's going to get you paid £50 for a corporate gig, which is probably not worthwhile.
No. And then we've had people who've not paid as well, corporate things, and so then there's all of that.
I would have thought that was a bigger worry with festivals. I've heard about it a lot on like the circuit with smaller events
We've
that
had it
go under.
probably once at a festival.
Is that it? Wow.
But we've had other events that haven't paid, including a corporate gig in London.
All the effort taken today, driving down, booking it,
Yes.
goes to nothing.
Yes. So we wouldn't have done that. By choice, we probably wouldn't have done that for free.
May as well name and shame them if they didn't pay you.
No.
Well, it's on the tip of my tongue.
All right.
We'll wait for the class action.
So sometimes gigs just don't work. How do you deal with it when an audience doesn't really go in for what you're trying to deliver, or if they're major technical problems?
Live practice.
Live practice.
Yep. You just go through your motions and do it.
Yeah.
Because
it's good to have it running through the system, running through the PA at a good volume. It makes it easier to hear things, easier to kind of see what needs working on.
I would have thought now you're not using the full drum kit, it's easier to do a gig without like full PA and stuff.
No.
Might be more difficult actually because you need a good PA to put the beats through. Whereas with the drum kit you can just play.
I would have worried about the drum kit drowning out the violin and guitar, but
The trouble with the drum kit, isn't it? Is that's your base level of volume.
and your bass level of volume is unfortunately you need like a 50-watt amplifier to go along with it.
Yes, exactly. Whereas with electronic beats, you can turn the volume down.
Yeah.
But we do.
Yeah, we are very reliant on
We
that.
do desperately need to hear that on stage, and that's something like a cajon or a drum kit. You can hear them on stage, but with the electronic beats.
I mean, one of the things we have developed over the years is to work out how we can get a good sound on stage without needing to rely on the setup of wherever you're going. So, always take back line, you've got in-ear. So, it means you're taking a bit more kit to a gig, but you can set it up. I've got a microphone, I've got my amp, and then you're in your little zone, and you're not reliant. You're reliant on their PA going out, but you're not reliant on what
The
you
sound
can
on
hear.
stage, because we've been to places where big stages and they go, oh, you don't need all that. We've got all the monitors and stuff.
And then
But
it doesn't work out.
yeah.
Does it just never work, or?
No, sometimes it's great, but there's times when they just don't turn it on, or they just and you don't want to do a gig where you finish a number and you're going, oh, more guitar please on this monitor, and then you finish the next number and more fiddle in this monitor, and
I've been to a lot of gigs which have been like that.
Yeah.
Just every
It's annoying, isn't it?
it just feels like the band and the sound man are engaged in a mortal clash.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And we're lucky. I mean, I think we're lucky as well because kind of mix from stage, and I've got the mixer set up, so it just kind of, we can plug and play really. And that's, it's a real benefit. That's a bonus. I mean, if you can sort something like that as a starting out artist, like getting your sound sorted out before you even go to a gig or even start booking gigs, if you get it.
Does this even count for people coming to your open mic?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's massively helpful to everyone, and it helps the sound engineer as well. Even if you know just a tiny bit about the mixing and stuff like that, how it all gets together, then it makes it's easier to come across with like a more complete what's the word?
Sound?
Yeah,
or?
complete sound. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had it where you go to a gig and the sound guys aren't used to our lineup. Like electronic spoon wah pedal, violin. They're used to sort of electric guitar.
Two guitars and a drum.
Yeah, yeah, and vocals.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we don't know what to do. But then Merlyn hands them an output, and they haven't got to do anything.
Make it simple, Make it simple for them, and they really appreciate it, I think.
So do you just give them like a 3.5 inch cable or XLR?
No, I use XLRs, just makes it easier.
One XLR cable, entire show
There you go.
plugs into that.
Yeah. Man said, well, I might as well go to the pub.
Yeah.
I think the more you can do to make yourself comfortable on stage with everybody, the better your performance will be, because you're all in the zone. You've got, the more you can, erode take out all the things that could go wrong yourself. The more confident you will be.
So, when you guys are trying to create a new piece of music, what's the process you go through?
It's because we do tunes. It's usually we either have a little. You just have a little ditty going or something, and you go, oh, this is a nice little phrase, and you develop it. Or sometimes we have a really good tune that always gets everyone going, and you think we need another one like that. So we use the same chord sequence but in a different key, and start from there, and it comes out as a completely different tune.
Yeah.
I mean, generally what happens is somebody comes with something to work on, and it tends to be a bit of a tune, or it tends to be a bit of a riff. We then put the chords to that. Merlyn brings the beats and
make
the
the
chords.
beats after that, pretty much, kind of develop the beats from there.
And you do a lot of work on structuring it as well. Which is really helpful. But then as it forms, then in a way it gets more creative, because then you've got something to play off, and you think, oh, I'm going to not play now, or I'm going to do this now, and then that's when the exciting.
Yeah, I find that with writing. Once I've got a skeleton as such, it's much easier to fiddle with it and make it what you want.
Yeah.
It tends to evolve really naturally with what we're doing.
Now, in the modern day, lots of musicians do multiple projects at once. Do you guys have anything individually brewing at the moment?
Merlyn must have.
Yeah, I mean, I do a few little covers things, and then I've always got stuff of my own that I'm working on.
You were talking about that walkabout a few months ago with all the tiny instruments.
Oh yeah. No, I'm still working on that. There's always stuff that I'm working on, but it's actually getting out there and doing it, and I've got the open mics and stuff as well. So yeah. I've got stuff in the background, but nothing that I'm releasing at the moment.
Finally, do any of you have anything you'd like to add before we close? Any tips for rookie musicians, or shout-outs for projects you love, events you love, festivals you love?
I'm going to have to do a little plug for the charity that I run, which is the British Association for Performing Arts Medicine, BAPAM, which is all about looking after the health of performing artists, and just make the point for any festival organisers and any artists to think about their own health and put things in place for people's health when they're there. Keep well.
Okay.
I think rookie artists get out there and just practice performing. Performing is it's something that needs practice, like playing another instrument. So get out there and practice playing publicly.
Yeah. And if you're feeling nervous, just remember, you've been booked for the gig. You're out there doing it. You took the time to learn it, and you got this.
Well, thanks so much for talking to me, guys. This has been really good. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tim. Cheers.